Today is January 4th, 2021. I'm going to be comparing my running data on this day to this same day in 2020. When I started my running program in 2020, my goal was to run a minimum of 5 kilometers a day. And I accomplished this by getting onto the treadmill first thing in the morning every single day for this month in last year. What I did on this day, which was a Saturday, I believe, so it was the time to do my long run. I did 5.21 miles on the treadmill, which is kind of a feat to spend that much time on a treadmill itself. But there's no elevation gain on a treadmill, and I can distract myself with YouTube. So really the challenge is trying to make sure that I'm going to be breathing right and managing my heart rate throughout this long run. So on this treadmill run, I maintained, let's take a look at the average pace. The average pace was 10 minutes and 10 minutes and 12 seconds per mile, or about 6 miles per hour. I took a break in the middle over here to go to the bathroom. And if we take a look at my heart rate, I'm doing much better on this day than on previous days. I'm starting off slower and my heart rate is actually in zone 3 over here. So I am in a very manageable I'm at a very manageable heart rate range. And then when I speed up to 8 minutes and 50 seconds per mile, then my heart rate jumps up to zone 4. But this is still manageable until it's not. So I can manage this pace for maybe 10 minutes and then I'm in zone 5. So after, what is this, 8 minutes? Yeah, so about 5 minutes in at a 9-ish minute pace per mile pace, I am in zone 5. Then I took a break to go to the bathroom and I came back onto the treadmill to see, all right, if I'm trying to go at this 9-minute pace, I am pretty much going to be in zone 5 the whole time. And this is difficult. This is really difficult. This whole time I am working hard to maintain this pace, and it's taking a lot of my focus to stay on top of this speed while I'm on the treadmill. But I make it through the workout. This is a virtual run prescribed on this program called Zwift. So the good thing about Zwift is that it tells you what to do, so you don't have to worry about um, planning your own runs. It'll just tell you what to do and you go ahead and do it, which is an excellent way to start. Average pace of 156 beats per minute doesn't really tell much about the big picture because at this 10 so the average pace doesn't really tell me much about the big picture because I spent most of my time at a 9 minutes per mile pace, and the average BPM of 156 is pretty high, but it doesn't tell me that I spent most of my time in zone 5. So if we take a look at the zones over here, I spent 29% of my time in zone 5, and this was for 9 minutes per mile pace. When I was completely flat, I had about 42% of my time in zone 4. And now we're going to compare this to what I did today. Today I did a real brief run before my morning meeting. I only did 2 miles, but I did 2 miles as hard as I could possibly go. So I ran straight uphill. I ran straight, oops, Or doesn't it start from there? Okay, here we go. So I ran straight up the hill. Oh, and that's really cool. Yeah, so I went straight uphill and then I ran downhill much faster. I didn't recognize that Garmin did this. Okay, so let's take a look at my metrics I am when I am running here. So let's start over here. Play. So I'm running up the hill from my house, and then I am struggling, and I needed to take a break, uh, a short break over here and over here. But on the way down the hill, I was running pretty fast. Let's take another look at that. So I'm going uphill at about 8.5 minute pace, taking a short break, and then on the way down the hill, I was running at a 6.5 minute pace until I got to the flat part near my house. And that is that's the kind of speed return I got. I took two significant breaks over here. One to before I crossed the street, one to catch my breath after running half a mile up the hill, and then I took a little break before I started my way back downhill. And I spent most of my time in zone 5 over here. Most of my time was in zone 5. So if we look at the pace comparison, I am getting, so for this first little bit until I cross the street, I'm just getting warmed up. I'm running pretty fast at 8 minutes per mile. And then I start my uphill ascent. And let's see if I can get my elevation in here too. So here, flat, and then I start my ascent right here. Okay. So as I start my ascent, my heart rate is going to skyrocket because I'm trying to run fast while going up the hill. And this is really kicking my butt right here. I hit zone 5 while I'm gasping for air. I take a short breather, take off my jacket, and then resume my run up the hill. And while I'm going fast up the hill, I am in zone 5 right away. But I keep pushing it because I want to stay focused like I would have been this time last year on the treadmill. And then finally, when I get to the top of the hill, I take another short break, and then my heart rate drops within, it doesn't even take a full minute for my heart rate to come back down. And then I start booking it downhill. And I can run much faster now than I ever imagined would have been possible a long time ago. A lot of this has to do with the shoe technology I'm wearing right now. I was wearing the Nike Next Percent 4%, whatever you call it, carbon fiber shoes, and I felt like I was flying down the hill. So this was pretty amazing. So when I was starting the cardio program, maintaining an average pace of 9 minutes per mile was very, very difficult. And now I can do 8 minutes per mile going uphill and 6.5 minutes per mile going downhill. This is pretty awesome. This felt pretty awesome. And if I managed my breathing a little bit better, maybe I wouldn't even been redlining on the way down the hill. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. This is the difference that was made after a year of building up my aerobic base, running every day, doing lots of long runs, running lots of long and slow. You're not going to be building up a lot of your aerobic base by running kind of shortish runs like this. Most of my aerobic base is built over several hours and done at a comfortable heart rate. As you can see over here, it's mostly blue and green. meaning that when you are comfortable, your heart is comfortable, but still working, this is where you're going to be doing your growth.